everybody, and welcome to Quick Review Thursday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I have an awesome guest here. I have John Ward. How you doing, John?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. So, John was the one who picked this month's episode for us. This part. So, please tell us a little bit more about the film that you picked and why basically you picked it.
Well, I picked this film right here, Maxim Xul, and it stars Adam West. And way down here at the bottom, it says produced and directed by Arthur Eagley. Arthur was a former roommate of mine 20 plus years ago. And when we were living in Pasadena, he's a filmmaker, still a filmmaker, and still an artist, a painter. And he made a lot of kind of arty films about, the struggles of painting and everything, and what artists go through. But he did make this one film here, and I bought it originally, back in the day at the Tower Outlet store, and sold it with many things when I probably needed money to pay rent. And then decided to just hunt it down again, found it on eBay, and that's this current copy is from eBay. And I've had it ever since. My a good friend of mine, Jeff Gordon, who was also my roommate with Arthur, a couple of days ago messaged me and said, "Oh my God, John, Maxim Xul is on YouTube. You have to check this out." And so he sent me the link, and I watched it. And of course, the first person that I thought of was you, to give it a review, because it's very obscure. I mean, this is it now, YouTube, but this is the only way that you can get this film. And we're talking, like early 90s. So it's just a very interesting film, because as I'm sure Arthur would probably like to wipe it off of his resume, considering the types of films that he makes.
Right. Well, I think that's awesome though. Like, that especially that you thought of me. Like, I was the first person you thought of. I think that's really great. And yeah, we were talking. I think a few days before this, or maybe a day before this, about Quick Review Thursday, and then I was going to be asking people to come on the show and stuff. And then you were like, the next day, you're like, I've got it. I've got the one we should do. And I said, oh, that's awesome. So I watched it, and boy, was it fun. That's all I'm going to say. And, I mean, all you had to do was tell me Adam West was in it, and I'm sold, like, I'm curious,
And that's
but
it. Yeah.
sadly, he's only in it for maybe 5 minutes, if even, like, it's a really short amount of, like, I expected with, and this happens a lot with indie films. The distributors usually see, oh, there's a name in it, or maybe like they're in their contract, they're supposed to be top billed, and that sort of annoys me. That these, like, okay, I can understand if it's like an anthology and he's the host, right? Like that would be a top billed thing. But
Right.
when you're only in it for maybe 5 minutes of the movie, and really a lot of it's just exposition, just trying to explain things that's going on. Um, I feel like it's a little misleading, and I don't feel like that's sort of fair to the audience. But I don't know. It was his name, it should have been and Adam West, not Adam West and all these other people, because it's sort of, once again, misleading. But that's my opinion, and I guarantee that has nothing to do with the director and the producers. A lot of it has to do with whoever puts it out. That's how they market it.
Right. And who knows, maybe they had access to Adam West, and they're like, well, how much do you want to shoot for 2 days? And he's like, X amount of money. And they're like, okay, you're now going to be, Professor, so-and-so, and you're going to give all of the exposition for, for this whole film. Cause he comes and goes, because he magically appears. And the lead character, the main cop, even says that, he's like, how did you get here? Why are you here? And he does. And he's always standing. It's just when they see him, he's like right around a corner standing there. So
Right.
it's, yeah, like they really needed that character to just kind of push the film forward with explaining, what Xul is and then what Maxim Xul is, because
Right.
as they point out, they're two different things. And because Xul is evil, but Maxim Xul is ultimate evil. So, and you have to
Max.
let the
Well, because
audience know
it's the
that.
Maxim. It's the maximum.
Yeah.
The maximum Zool. Um. Whenever I kept hearing them say Zool, I wanted to go. There is no Dana, only Zool. Um, which
Only
which
Xul.
is so funny because I mean it's spelled a different way. It's spelled XUL, other than the Zool in Ghostbusters, which is ZUUL. And I don't know. I think both of them are fictional kind of characters things. Like Zool in this is a demon. In Ghostbusters, it's a demigod or something. Um,
Right. Yeah.
or at least a follower of the demigod or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I actually watched Ghostbusters, but I do. So whenever I keep hearing Zool, I'm just thinking of the other the other Zool, and I want the Ghostbusters pop in, which sort of was what Adam West's character is in a way. Like he's a Ghostbuster
Well,
slash.
and his weapon, as you can see here, is a broadsword and a mace, and this comes at the end of the movie.
Right.
So in
Um,
fact, there he is swinging, the fight.
I thought it was really
So
like
it's, and that's, there's Zool
I thought it
right
was really
there.
funny. There's that scene in the movie where the detective calls up uh Adam West's character, Professor Maddock, something like that. How do you pronounce it? Is Marduk? They barely ever say his last name. They always just call him Professor. Like, hello, Professor, blah 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 blah. That's it. You know.
Right.
Um but so he played I just love the scene where the detective calls him up and is like, "Can you explain your whereabouts from this time and this time?" And he was like, "Not only can I explain my whereabouts, but I can tell you more if you meet with me." And I thought, wow, that sounds very suspicious. you know, like maybe
Instead of just telling him on the phone.
right. Well, yeah, but like I feel like back in the '90s, they really liked to do those kind of things where they had to have uh the the detective meet with the person. They do it still to this day on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Instead of the person telling everybody on the phone, they'll be like, "I'll meet you at this cafe and I'll give you all the information." I'm like, really? Is that how it works? Like that doesn't. It seems like you would come down to the station. You would meet at some sketchy cafe or whatever, or at your house or
Right. Yeah.
what whatever. You would meet at the station. Like maybe see that's half the problem with television shows that have cops or movies that have cops or whatever. And that's what I'm trying to fix when I do my cop stuff and my movies, is try to fix that like stigma and of like this is how things are done on television, but this is how things are actually done in real life. Now real life may be a little bit more boring, but you got to show kind of that a little bit. You got to be a little bit more realistic. Otherwise, people are going to like not be that into it in my mind. But it didn't really
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. It's
Or go ahead.
no, I mean, it's also, it's in screenwriting 101 too. You don't want to have phone conversations,
Right.
and that's like a big no in screenwriting. And so maybe somebody just got done, reading a screenwriting book, and they're like, okay, well, we'll have them make this phone call to the cop, or the cop makes the phone call to the professor, but they have to meet somewhere, because I was told in this book that you can't, phone calls are not good. So and then plus it also gives a new location too. So it's
I
probably
get
a
it.
combination of everything. So if they, it's but I have to say with this though is that, Adam West looked good. I mean, he didn't look like one of those guys that, you didn't watch the movie going, ooh, poor Adam West, man, what a drag. He looked
Yeah.
pretty good. I mean, he looked, in shape, and looked like he was healthy, and so I got to give him that. So, and
All in all,
I remember the film. Oh, go on.
oh, no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I remember the film just not being great, but of course that was, we're talking when I saw it was a long time ago. But now rewatching it, I was actually kind of impressed. They probably didn't have a giant budget, and the I think probably the so if the film was remastered and maybe brought out by one of these companies like Scream Factory or whatever, it would probably look a lot better and hold up more. But it definitely wasn't a boring looking movie. I mean, the camera moved and it had decent lighting and tracking shots, and so I was impressed with it that way.
At least a decent, like, it deserves a decent DVD release, like you said,
Yeah,
it's
if
not even
anything,
on
yeah.
DVD, which so hopefully somebody could pick that up, like you said, Scream Factory or Arrow or somebody. But the problem is it's not like as big of a known movie, like it's not going to be picked up by Scream Factory or them, because it's nobody really knows of it, you know, like people aren't well aware of this film, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And one of the problems with it now is, since Adam West, is no longer with us, you could get Arthur to do audio commentary or an interview or something like that. But the gold would be to get Adam West to do audio
Yeah.
commentary or at least an interview. And that's just not,
Well,
obviously not possible these days. So
who knows? Maybe Arthur has like some vintage behind the scenes interviews, like for an EPK that,
oh,
came out
yeah, it's
originally.
possible.
But other than
That's
that,
possible.
like, you're right. Like, I guarantee you he's never done commentary for it or whatever before. And honestly, I don't think Adam West was going around telling people, you got to see my movie, Maxim Xul. That's my movie,
Right.
you know. Which is kind of sad because, like, you're right, uh the production value for the film was actually pretty decent for like 91 shot on film, like actual. This wasn't like shot on, like, this isn't an SOV film. This isn't a backyard thing. I mean, they had access to real offices that look like it could have been cop offices,
Right.
though then again, the cop offices looked suspiciously sort of like like they looked similar enough where I was like, wait, which, because everybody wore I didn't see many like cop uniforms and stuff. So when we were with the cops, it got really distracting because I wasn't sure if we were in the newspaper office or the cop office at times. Like, it just a little bit of
Well, yeah, that's a little weird because I think the newspaper office was upstairs. Because I
okay.
think they mentioned that one of the cops even says like, well, upstairs, and then you cut to the
Yeah.
the newspaper office. So it's
Okay.
like, oh, well, that's convenient that there's a police station on the first floor and a newspaper on the second floor. So, but I guess
Yeah.
for
Small
film,
towns might do that. I
it,
mean, I don't know. It could happen. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm just saying that is a little weird. But they did look very eerily like similar, and that was probably the case. Is probably same offices, same whatever, and they just kind of used that. So it didn't. It's sort of, I don't know. And then I I don't know. The cops were sort of fun. They were normal. Like, I like that. My favorite character was Sarge. In the movie, Sarge was fun. Like, there's a few
right,
characters
yeah,
that
yeah.
and then there's the main girl, the newspaper journalist. She reminded me of Courtney Thorne Smith at first. Like, I was like, how did they get Courtney Thorne Smith in this movie? Then I looked it up and I was like, that's not Courtney Thorne Smith. It was some actress who's
Oh
never
no, that's
acted.
definitely not Courtney Thorne Smith. No,
I thought it was
that's
for a second. She was cute,
that's
and
her right there.
I know. But then I realized she had the same last name as the main antagonist. And I was like, holy crap, are they sisters or something? Because they don't look anything alike to me. Like, It was maybe cousins, I don't know, but they did not look anything alike. So I was like, that's a little strange. It's what are the last names? Schaefer. Yeah. Yep. Mary and Billy Schaefer. Mary Schaefer being the main newspaper journalist, and then Billy being the I was the lawyer who, you know, turns out to be more than what she seems. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
So
yeah. Spoilers after the spoilers.
we probably spoiled it enough. Oh well. If you're watching this movie, you could go watch it on YouTube now, and then come back. And I don't know if we should be promoting that because it's technically that's probably supposed to be up there. But what I
Well, probably not. But if it's a way of seeing it, because as it states on the box in quotes, one of the year's best supernatural thrillers.
right
It doesn't say from who. It also
right
states the same review on the back. But
oh,
who is this from?
I don't know.
But it is, according to this, one of the best supernatural thrillers that you should see of the year. So maybe it's only of that year
Of that
of
year.
when it came out.
After
Maybe there's
that,
better ones.
yeah, there are better ones in other years. At
It's
least they're
funny
being
is on this box
honest.
is they yeah, true. They didn't really put a lot of care into this because it's like on the front here, it's Adam West, star of TV's Batman, is back to fight a new kind of evil from an ancient world. And then the person was so creative that they decided to put the same thing on the back of the box. So we're getting the same quote, the same like ad line on the front and the back. It's like they couldn't even mix it up a little bit. But
That's funny.
Adam West never fought anybody. Batman did,
Right.
and
No,
he's
yeah.
not Batman in this.
He's not.
And I don't even think that's Adam West right there either.
No.
It's early Photoshop.
Um
But these guys used to bring out a bunch of cheesy stuff. It's Maxim Entertainment. Magnum, my fault. Magnum Entertainment.
that would be fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed this stuff. Like I enjoyed the film in general. Like I little, demon movie, and what I liked about it was the cop stuff, like, detective work that they had, trying to solve the case of what's going on. And so all in all, it wasn't terrible at like for some reason, I guess when you were telling me to check it out and the way you were describing it, I thought, oh, this is going to be bad. And then, I'm going to have to watch my P's and Q's kind of thing because I don't want to be too, too mean or anything. But I actually didn't find like I had to be.
Right.
I mean, it was, it had some issues, but all in all, it was kind of cute and fun to me. Like it was a nice little flick.
It's a product of its time, and it's something that could have been more schlocky, and it isn't. It could have been revved up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of a lot of walking and talking, and you don't even get to see, the Maxim Xul until the very end. So,
Which was pretty cool.
when the person turns, it did look all right. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously a production photo, probably, but it wasn't too bad looking, and so it's. But yeah, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not great, and I think that it deserves more than what it got. So
Right.
it's some of the some films you find on that are only available on VHS, and they're just, why hasn't anybody picked them up? I mean, a lot worse has been released. Like if
Yeah.
you remember those two movies, Graveyard Shift, about I think they take place in New York, and it deals with a vampire taxi cab driver.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the only way of getting those films is on VHS. They're
Oh
not
wow.
available on DVD.
Damn.
And if they are, they're probably foreign DVDs. But yeah, I own both of those on VHS because I can't find them anyplace else.
Well, it's funny. Paul's got a show that he does called Forgotten Horror Classics. Mainly, like 50s, 40s, kind of kind of movies or whatever. But like a lot of these fall from that idea that like they're forgotten because like nobody has put them out. You know, they're not available, and companies like Scream Factory can only put out so much. You know, they can't, and they have to be picky and choosy what they put out. You know what I mean? That's why I kind of get mad when they put out like newer stuff. You know, I'm like, why don't you save that for other labels? But like, try to bring out the stuff that we can't that we can't get anywhere. You know, just get the rights to those movies if you can.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of the times, I think it's because they just can't find the rights, or a person doesn't want to give them up, or it's just too expensive. But
Right.
you're right. I mean, there's a lot of forgotten films out there that you know I easily saw in the '80s because I worked at a video store, but now are practically impossible to find unless
Exactly.
somebody takes a tape, a VHS tape, and puts it onto YouTube.
Um, hmm, I don't know. I guess that would be one way to do it. If people put them on YouTube, I guess that's what's going on right now. You can find a lot of like full length films that I mean aren't really supposed to be up there because whatever, but like nobody else is putting them out on DVDs, so like they're the only ways we can watch them, and like the VHSs of them on like Amazon sometimes are skyrocketed to like $80 or something, and nobody's gonna pay $80 for a movie they've never seen. You know, I mean, it's just
Right.
ridiculous. I mean, unless you have known of that movie
Oh
as
yeah,
like
yeah. So,
the holy grail of like those type of movies.
well, and that's I remember on Facebook once there was a contest for the most like obscure movie, and you're just supposed to kind of hold it up in front of you and take a picture of it, and you'd win a prize, whatever it was. This was, I think, about a year or so ago. And I thought, oh, I'm winning first prize because there is, especially with Adam West being in this. And so I think I took a picture, and I'm like, doing this
Right.
type of thing with it. And I'm like, I gotta win. And the person who won, it wasn't even like a movie; it was like a prop. And it's like you could read right up there on the post. It says, obscure movie, not movie prop. And
Right.
so I thought, well, that sucks. Why would you give
Mhm.
it to somebody for a prop? And in this contest, who's seen this?
Right.
Nobody has. Probably nobody even knew about it. And so many people know Adam West, especially from Family Guy.
Right.
So that's how
Exactly.
they know him as Mayor West. So it's not like he's obscure. It's just he's kind of a household name, even if you're young and you don't know him from Batman.
But the movie's obscure for sure.
Oh, the movie's definitely, yeah, yeah.
Um, well, I think that's it. I mean, we pretty much covered it. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I hope that more people get a chance to see it on YouTube and check it out. We'll put the link up there so you guys can check it out as well. And let us know what you guys think of the movie, and I'll definitely have you back on at some point, John. I know you're going to be on all of my podcasts eventually, so this year. So don't. There'll be enough John Ward for everybody. Um,
I'm a big
maybe
guy. There's a lot of me to go around.
maybe too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe people are saying that about me. I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.